There are many gaps in the Amtrak network. One of them is the lack of north south routes for, at least half of the country. I have a train route proposal to begin addressing the aforementioned gap. The southern terminus of this route is El Paso, Texas. It has a population of nearly 680,000 people, making it larger than the likes of Baltimore, Detroit, and Boston. To be clear, the El Paso metro area is smaller than the metro areas of these three cities. But still, it's worth highlighting that El Paso is a larger city than a lot of people realize. Going north, the second stop would be in Las Cruces, New Mexico. It is a city of over 110,000 people, and in a metro area with well more than 200,000 people. It is also home to New Mexico State University, which I expect to be a big ridership driver, since college students are less likely to own cars than other Americans. There would be a stop in Socorro. It has about 8,700 residents. And my apologies if I butchered the pronunciation of your city. RFR, ProRail, poor pronunciation. The next stop would be in Belen. It is a city of over 7,300 people, and it is about 35 miles south of Albuquerque. Belen is also the southern terminus of a commuter rail line called the New Mexico Rail Runner Express. I've heard from others that this commuter rail line provides pretty good service for a metro area of Albuquerque's size. Because of that, I'm not going to fuss a whole lot about serving most of the places along the route for the Rail Runner Express. However, I will still serve another city along this commuter rail line. That city is Albuquerque. I mean, duh! One of the most obvious cities to serve on this proposed line is Albuquerque. It is a city of over 564,000 people and is a metro area of over 900,000 people. Albuquerque is also the first of a series of stops where my proposed route overlaps with Amtrak's existing Southwest Chief service. The following stop would be at Lamy, the most sparsely populated stop that I think I have proposed for a line on this channel. It has a population of 218 people. Because of that, you might be asking, why Lamy? Well, unfortunately, the rail path currently built between El Paso and Denver doesn't go directly through Santa Fe, which is New Mexico's state capital, about 20 miles to the north of Lamy. Furthermore, there are mountains to both the northeast and the east of Santa Fe, which means that including a stop in Santa Fe unfortunately doesn't seem too workable. However, the tracks do go through Lamy, which is a stop on the Southwest Chief, and this stop also provides a connection to Amtrak Thruway bus service connecting Lamy to Santa Fe. Essentially, it's a stop meant to connect people to Santa Fe. In a country that is more rail centric, I might also propose changing Amtrak Thruway bus service to a rail line that connects the Lamy station to Santa Fe. Perhaps this is something that can be accomplished as a second line for the aforementioned Rail Runner Express. The next three stops are also stops along the Southwest Chief: Las Vegas, which has about 13,000 people, Raton, which has about 6,000 people, and Trinidad, Colorado, which has about 8,300 people. Just north of the Trinidad station, this route splits off from the Southwest Chief. While the Southwest Chief heads towards Kansas City, this line continues towards Denver to the north. The following stop would be in Walsenburg, with a population of just above 3,000 people. The stop location is right in between Trinidad and the next stop, which is kind of a major stop. That stop is Pueblo. It has close to 112,000 residents, and I think it's fair to say that this is the most important stop since the Albuquerque stop in New Mexico. I'd have a stop in Fountain, which is in the Colorado Springs area. It has close to 30,000 people. To the north of this stop is the Colorado Springs stop. The Colorado Springs population is fast approaching 500,000 people. And I was honestly caught by surprise when realizing how big Colorado Springs is. It is the 40th most populous city in the United States as of the time of recording this video. I felt like a common theme in doing research for this video was being caught by surprise with how large some of these cities on this proposed route are, and how quickly they are growing. North of Colorado Springs would be a stop at Monument. It has grown from having about 2,000 people to about 10,000 people in just the last 20 years. An incredible rate of growth. Heading closer to Denver, I'd have a stop at Castle Rock, which has also seen incredible growth in recent decades. It had just over 4,000 people in the 1980 census, and it is now home to over 73,000 people. The penultimate stop would be in Denver proper, and I'd simply call it the I-25 and Broadway stop. Or maybe I should call it Denver South. You might be asking, why two stops in Denver? It's for the same reason that it makes sense for Boston to have a Back Bay station and a South station, which are under 2 miles away from each other. In Boston, the Back Bay station provides important rail connections that you can't get with the South station, and South station provides important rail connections you can't get with the Back Bay station. Likewise, in Denver, the I-25 and Broadway stop provides connections to 3 light rail lines that you wouldn't be able to connect to if I just had a stop at Union Station. These light rail lines connect people to places south of Denver. And as I-25 and Broadway has the third highest ridership of any station in Denver's rail system, it makes sense to have a stop there. If anyone disagrees with my thinking, though, I'd love to hear it in the comment section below, particularly if you're coming at it from someone who lives or has lived in the Denver area. The last stop is Union Station, which provides an Amtrak connection to the California Zephyr, as well as a bunch of rail connections for Denver's rail system. Connections you wouldn't be able to get if we just had a stop at I-25 and Broadway. And that is my proposed route to begin addressing the gap in north-south train routes in the western United States. Before giving my thoughts on this proposed route, I ask people to like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content on imagining better rail transit in the United States, and press the bell icon so that you're notified when my videos come out. Per B router, this route is about 1,168 kilometers, or 726 miles. It falls just under the threshold of qualifying as a long-distance line. In that distance, it covers 4 of the 40 largest cities in the United States, which is pretty impressive. And because of the extent of population covered in this route, this is a big part of why this line is the line I propose for starting to address the gap in north-south rail service between the middle of the country and the West Coast. Additionally, there is a lot of demand for travel between these cities. Here are a few stats to highlight this. Over 222,000 passengers flew from El Paso to Denver in 2024. 315,000 passengers flew from Albuquerque to Denver in 2024. Over 68,000 passengers flew from Santa Fe to Denver in a 12-month period from early 2024 to early 2025. And 398,000 passengers flew from Colorado Springs to Denver in a 12-month period between September 2023 and August 2024. So there is demand for travel, at least heading to and from Denver. And there probably is demand for travel heading between cities on this route that aren't Denver. But that's just a little harder to quantify based on looking at airport statistics. Quite a few of the towns and cities along this route are growing, and growing quite quickly. So there's also the exciting prospect of a service here that could have a lot of growth in the coming years and decades as the population also grows. Another upside is that I could actually see New Mexico and Colorado, 2 states who would have to fund a line like this, as being genuinely open to funding this line. Leadership in both states either funds good passenger rail service or is openly supportive of expanding passenger rail. Yes, there is a small part of the line in Texas, which isn't exactly known for being pro rail transit. But this is going to be mostly a New Mexico and Colorado line. There are a couple of downsides that I could see, though. One of them is that I could see people north of Denver grumbling about the fact that they're not included on this line. And I get it. There are cities such as Boulder, Fort Collins, and Cheyenne that are north of Denver and also deserve passenger rail service, yet wouldn't get it with this proposal. I will say, though, that I hope to at some point have plans for how to bring rail to these cities as well. In fact, Amtrak's vision for better rail service, called Amtrak Connects Us, proposes rail for these cities in a line that goes from Pueblo to Cheyenne by way of Denver. The other downside is that you're going to have to either build new tracks somehow, or else significantly upgrade existing infrastructure on existing tracks in order to make this service feasible. I mean, I'm sorry. Train tracks where you aren't going any faster than 25 to 30 miles per hour ain't going to cut it. As for the chances of this route becoming reality in the next 50 years, I give this an 8 out of 10. Here's why I'm so bullish. First, parts of this proposed route are already being funded for future passenger rail. And second, because the Federal Railroad Administration proposed a long distance route taking the path I propose here, and going further north into Wyoming and Montana. I don't think that that proposal will turn into reality in the current presidential administration, but it is a proposal that the federal government under a previous administration has already made. Between these two facts, I think that it's very likely that parts of this route, or maybe even all of this route, in some form, will come into existence by 2075. I'd like to hear your thoughts on my proposed route as well. Please leave your thoughts on this proposed route in the comment section below. Thank you, and have a good day.